The drama surrounding this unfolding story has grown into something far larger than a typical sports controversy. It has become a cultural collision between eras, a battle for influence, and a defining moment in the evolution of women's basketball. Caitlyn Clark's rise did not just add excitement to the WNBA, it fundamentally changed the ecosystem around it. Her arrival brought new eyes, new expectations, and an entirely new level of pressure to a league that had quietly operated under the same hierarchy for years. As her popularity skyrocketed, it forced long-held dynamics to the surface, and when Stephen A. Smith stepped into the conversation, the simmering tension finally exploded into a full-blown reckoning. What once seemed like simple competitive rivalry now reads like the unraveling of an old order, pushed to the brink by a superstar the league never quite expected. In the beginning, everything looked like normal friction. A promising rookie entering a league filled with veterans who worked their entire lives to build the sport. But beneath the surface something was shifting. The physical plays became noticeably sharper, the interviews colder, and the atmosphere surrounding games felt increasingly strained. While millions of new fans were celebrating Clark's every step, many of the veterans appeared guarded, as if unsure how to respond to this sudden tidal wave of attention reshaping the landscape around them. It wasn't until Stephen A. Smith openly addressed the issue that people began connecting the dots. His voice cut through the whispers, calling out the culture of resistance that had been forming long before Clark even arrived. He didn't accuse specific players, but he illuminated a pattern, a tone, and a tension that had become impossible to ignore. And inevitably, all eyes turned toward A'ja Wilson, the long-established face of the league and the unquestioned leader of Team USA. Her presence, her leadership, and her influence became the centerpiece of the conversation. Whether fair or not, the public narrative painted her as the protector of the old guard, the figurehead of a culture that seemed uneasy about the shift Clark represented. Stephen A.'s commentary struck at the heart of that perception, suggesting that if the veterans were creating an environment hostile to growth, they were putting their own positions at risk. It wasn't a threat to her talent or her resume. It was a warning about the responsibilities that come with being the face of an organization in a rapidly changing era. When he used the word fired, he didn't mean removed from the roster. He meant removed from the pedestal she had occupied for years. Fans responded immediately. Every clip of physical contact, every stiff defensive stance, every sideline expression was suddenly magnified. Social media filled with slowed-down videos, debates, and accusations that the league was failing to protect its most valuable new star. The perception hardened quickly, and as Stephen A. emphasized, perception often matters more than truth in modern sports. To casual viewers, it didn't look like defense. It looked like targeted aggression. It looked personal. And once that narrative took root, it became a runaway force. The league's silence only added fuel. Without strong messaging or unified leadership, speculation filled the void, painting a picture of a locker room split between eras and unable to adapt to the new reality. Team USA's reported internal tension only amplified the crisis. Whispers of awkward practices, unspoken divides, and uncomfortable energy painted a troubling backdrop. And when rumors surfaced claiming Clark had reached her breaking point and walked out of a scrimmage, everything changed. Suddenly this was no longer about rivalry or physical play. It was about a superstar feeling isolated in the very program meant to represent excellence and unity on the global stage. The reaction behind the scenes was reportedly intense. Sponsors and executives, who had invested heavily into the momentum Clark generated, wanted answers. They recognized the risk immediately. A fracture inside Team USA wasn't just a sports issue. It was a branding disaster. From that moment, the scrutiny on A'ja Wilson intensified even further. Her every move was studied as fans tried to determine whether she symbolized resistance to the new era or whether she was simply caught in the storm. Stephen A.'s commentary acted like an accelerant, framing the situation as a pivotal test for the league's leadership. If she was perceived as part of the problem, not necessarily through actions but through the public's interpretation of those actions, then sponsors and decision-makers would consider drastic steps. That was the heart of his warning. In a world driven by optics and revenue, loyalty becomes secondary. If an athlete, even one as decorated as Wilson, is viewed as jeopardizing the league's future, then the organizations behind her may begin re-evaluating her role. This is why the conversation has grown so intense. Caitlyn Clark's rise represents opportunity, growth, and global expansion, the kind of movement that could redefine the WNBA for generations. But with that opportunity comes the pressure to protect her, elevate her, and ensure her environment supports her ability to lead the sport into its next era. When practice tensions, viral clips, fan backlash, and internal frustrations all collide, the result is a crisis that no league can ignore. Stephen A. didn't create the conflict, but he articulated it in a way that forced everyone to choose a side, or at least acknowledge that something deeply uncomfortable was unfolding. Now the future hangs in the balance. Team USA officials remain silent, a silence that feels heavier each day. The veterans have not delivered a unified message, leaving space for speculation to grow unchecked. Fans continue to dissect every play, every rumor, every reaction. And Clark, whether intentionally or not, has become the axis around which the entire league rotates. Her influence stretches from ratings to merchandise sales to global media coverage. She is more than an athlete. She is a symbol of the new era. And that new era demands leaders who embrace change rather than resist it. As the dust settles, one truth towers above the rest. This is no longer about Aya Wilson versus Caitlyn Clark. It is about the WNBA deciding what kind of league it wants to be. Will it cling to the old guard and risk losing the momentum Clark has created? Or will it adapt to shift its